skills that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Little roller up along first. Behind the band. It gets no Buckner. Here comes Knight in the next one.
See you in Pittsburgh.
Can't wait. All the band is out of the field. He's going to go to the end zone. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone.
You're tuned into Game On with Josh Silverberg and Eric Bowe. Talking all things sports. It's
Game on!
Yeah, game on.
Game On right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Thursday to all of you here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, whether you're watching us on YouTube, on Instagram, or on worldwidesportsradio.com, or you're listening to us as well on all the smart speakers. Don't forget to check us out at worldwidesportsradio.com, YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts. Am I forgetting anything else? I'm trying to remember. I think I got everything under the sun.
So you got all the live stream ones, and then we also got Spotify, we got TikTok, and we got Facebook for all of our clips as well.
That's Speedy P, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, myself, Josh Silverberg, my co-host, of course, Mr. Eric Bowe. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Josh, imagine if you wrote it down.
I don't like things down, Speedy.
Man.
I tell you, big jam-packed show for you tonight. We're going to get into the NFL divisional round as we kind of dump some of those teams that didn't belong. We'll talk about that, give our predictions. We'll talk about some coaching updates. Of course, the Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. Duh, everybody saw that happening. That and so much more. But Dion to the Cowboys. Let's go.
Is it official? Is it official?
It's not, but Dion's on board with it, and Jerry's okay with it. Let's make it happen.
So then on last week's show, didn't we foreshadow saying, hey, I think the most desirable coaching spot is a spot that's not open yet? Wow. Not bad.
I tell you. Well, I will discuss about why it's not as desirable as we think it is, or at least I don't think it is. I don't know if you agree with me. Of course, we'll get into the history of the life and amazing broadcaster that is Bob Uecker. For those that don't remember, the Milwaukee Brewers radio play-by-play guy. And, of course, from the movie Major League. Phenomenal. We'll discuss his career and everything, passing away today at the age of 90. We'll discuss all that. And, of course, the National Championship preview, Ohio State, Notre Dame. NCAA is thrilled about that. I can tell you they probably are ecstatic about that. Had everything lined up, Eric, ready to go. We had everything, all the topics. Everything was good. Right, Speedy? We had everything ready to rock and roll.
I do want to touch base on one more debate, Josh, too. I want to make sure we have time for this debate.
Oh, we will. Don't worry.
So I won't say what it is now. You're going to have to keep listening in, and we'll get to it.
So it's exciting.
It's well worth tuning in.
It is. Because it shouldn't even really be that much of a debate, but whatever. And then we get the news at 2-something, the Mets re-signing Jesse Winker to a $1.5 year, $1 million deal. Fantastic, great, love it. Big part of the Met clubhouse last year.
You jumped out of your chair to celebrate that one today.
I was happy about it because he's a big part of their clubhouse. He was successful. Nope, there's Eric Frozen. That's number one. That's a great picture too.
I look better than all.
There you go, Speedy. Save it, Speedy. Get it. He got it.
Oh, believe me, there's been plenty over the years of Frozen. That are epic. Still, nothing as epic as when Chaz did it the first time, though.
I'm sure.
I'm
sure. I'm sure Eric's probably gonna have to pop out and pop back in again.
Yes.
So he'll come back in a minute. So the Mets get the $1 year, $8.5 million deal done with Jesse Winker.
Can you still hear me?
Imagine that's no, you're still frozen.
Go out and back in, Eric.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come out and come back in, my friend. What my guess is probably gonna be they're gonna platoon Speedy with Winker and Marte at the DH position, which I'm totally okay with. That's probably the best DH tandem they've had since the DH came into fruition in the National League. But then we get the news from Andy Martino and then John Heyman and then Joe Sherman, and everybody confirms that the Mets are pivoting to a plan B, that Pete Alonso, they expect him to sign somewhere else. Ken Rosendahl just reported interesting news. I'll wait till Eric gets back a couple of minutes ago about Pete Alonso and everything of that nature. But it's really something that Met fans are blaming David Stearns for the situation that has come to fruition with Pete Alonso. But the truth of the matter is this. Before Alonso had Scott Boras as his agent, the Mets had offered him a 7-year, $158 million deal. Which, when you look at it today, right, you're thinking, oh my, that's a no-brainer. Gotta take that deal. And all of a sudden, he decides, I don't want to take it, I'm going to bank on myself. Boy, that sounds familiar. I think a guy by the name of Michael Conforto did the same thing, and he never sniffed that $120 million that he was offered by the Mets again. Fast forward, the Mets then offer him a 3-year deal. No, the Mets offered him, I think it was like a 3-year deal. I remember what it was. He rejected it. He came back to the Mets, specifically the Mets only, for the 3-year deal with opt-outs. The Mets then tried to spin it. We're going to wait for Eric to get back. But the reality is, all the Met fans that are blaming David Stearns for this, I don't know how you can blame David Stearns for the situation, because the Mets have given Pete multiple opportunities to come back to this team. And every time him and his agency, whether it was Boras or his old agency, I don't remember who it was, have said no. We want this, this, and this. The truth of the matter is we don't know what the AAV was for Alonso. I don't know what it is. It was never reported. Now, obviously, the situation with Alonso is this. The Mets have said, listen, you can't hold us hostage. We have to move on. We have other things we need to do. Pete overplayed his market. He had a not great season. His lowest home run total since he's been up to the majors. He had 240 this year. And where is Eric? Why is it taking him so long? Yeah. To me, I think the issue with Pete, I'll say what it is, and then I'll refresh Eric when he comes back. Ken Rosenthal just came out and said Pete was then rebutted by the Mets, offered him a straight 3-year deal with no opt-outs, which you would think, Speedy, you as a Met fan as well, would benefit Pete Alonso because he's getting the guaranteed money. He's getting the guaranteed years. I don't know why Pete rejected it. That's the part that doesn't make any sense. Obviously, we know what the apple in the Mets' eye is. That is one Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to pair him with Soto and Lindor. But the Mets offering Alonso a straight 3-year deal would benefit Alonso, because then the truth of the matter is the Mets could still go after Guerrero next year and put the DH role to Alonso. I just don't understand what is going to happen in the end of this whole situation. Until Pete has pen to paper with another team, I don't believe anything that's going on. This could change really quickly. But the truth of the matter is this: Pete has made himself a name and a marketable player in New York. If he goes to Toronto, if he goes to San Francisco, my issue is, well, not my issue, his issue is going to be, is he still a marketable player? Is he going to have the popularity that he had with the Mets in New York? You could say the same thing with Kristaps Porzingis when he was with the Knicks, right? He's a unicorn. He's great. He's a generational player. He was an all-star, MVP candidate. Left, went to Dallas, and was nothing. So my situation or my issue with Alonso and his camp is, why is this a problem? Why can't they come to an agreement? I think Alonso's being very stubborn. He needs to understand he's over 30. He had a down season. He has no market. This has Michael Conforto. He didn't even answer you, right? This is Michael Conforto written all over it. So to me, I'm just trying to figure out where the issue lies with him. So to me, what I want to know is this. With Pete, where is he going to go? Like I said, he could go to Toronto, be the DH. He can go to the Giants, but he's in a bigger ballpark. He's not going to have the marketability that he had. And that, to me, is a massive problem. I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for Alonso. This is nothing to do with the Mets. The Mets told Pete, all right, we'll do a 3-year deal, but instead of the opt-outs, why don't you just stick with us for 3 years? No opt-outs. You could stay with the team. He said no. And I think the Mets, I think Stearns, I think Steve Cohen have said we're done waiting. I got to move on. Now, what does that do for the Mets? That can mean Mark Vientos plays first base. You try Brett Beatty. You try Ronnie Mauricio. Luis Angel Acuna at third base. You sign Tanner Scott. You put him in the bullpen. I think that would be the next steps that they're going to have to do and figure this out. I would imagine they're going to try to do stuff in the trade market. We've heard rumblings that they're trying to talk to Toronto about a trade for Guerrero. But Toronto doesn't want to trade Guerrero right now. Guerrero's going to hit the market next year, and we know the Mets are going to be top of the list. But they have a year to wait for this. I do think, though, Pete needs to understand if he takes a 3-year deal and the Mets could go out to Guerrero next year, Pete will be the DH next year. He could still back cleanup in between what? Guerrero and Vientos? That's great. I think Pete's being very stubborn in this negotiation. I would love for Pete to come back. Pete coming back would be a huge asset to this team, to this lineup. Losing him, you're losing a lot of home runs. Are you losing average on base percentage, stolen bases, defense? No, not really. But you're losing power. Is this going to make the team better? I don't think so. For the net. But, to me, I think the issue is with Pete, he needs to stop being stubborn and he needs to have the understanding of where his market is. It doesn't exist. There is no market for him. If there was a market for him, he would have signed already.
I don't know. The Giants seem to be more and more peeking the head over there, it seems.
So I was saying, Eric, when you were off, the Mets offered him, he offered the Mets the 3-year deal with the opt-outs.
Mm-hmm.
Ken Rosenthal just reported a few minutes ago, the Mets rebutted Pete and said, we'll give you the 3-year deal, but no opt-outs. You get a straight 3-year deal with a pretty good AAV. He said no.
Yep.
So I don't understand what Pete's dilemma is, his notion is with this, what he's trying to get out of this. Because, again, it's marketability, too. If he goes to Toronto, he goes to Seattle, he goes to the Giants, I think he's just going to be a lost player that people are going to say he's a nice player, but he's marketable in New York. I gave the example of Kristaps Porzingis with the Knicks.
Right.
When Porzingis left the Knicks, he was like, he's just a player.
But you know what, though? We've seen this a little too often. Last year, all off season, how many times did you see a guy wait it out and have to take a short-term deal? You're starting to see that again this year so far. Bregman, another name out there. Alonzo. Although I think the Mets are kind of smart and have their plan B. Although what they have in their back pocket is they don't have to make plan B move right now, and that's AKA Mr. Vladdy Guerrero, right? You can wait a year and then pay him a boatload of money next year to sign, right? Yeah. You can trade for him this year, but on your terms, right? Like the Mets hold the cards that way. They don't necessarily need to sign Alonzo for this year or Vladdy, right? They can wait it out. They can afford to do that this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I was saying before, is the lineup going to get a hit without Alonzo? It's going to hurt because they're going to lose the power. But again, Alonzo only brings the home run power. And Alonzo, let's call it like it is, 80% of the season, he didn't really help that much. He had a big role in the postseason and everything like that.
But I'm glad you said that. And that's my question then, right? Pete Alonso doesn't play in that last in the game against Milwaukee. Doesn't get that at bat against Devin Williams. Do the Mets still win that game?
No, of course not. But that's the point. I think that everybody needs to understand. I don't understand why Alonso won't take the straight 3-year deal then with no opt-outs. You're getting a straight 3-year deal. You don't have to worry about stuff. And the Mets could still go after Guerrero, and you could be the DH next year, and then you could still be a part of that lineup. I don't know what Alonso's agenda is with this. Like, what is his... Michael Conforto did the same thing. I was telling Speedy this off the air. He cost himself $120 million. He's never, I don't even think, made more than 40 since that happened. And again, this goes back to the Scott Boras situation. Scott Boras is great with the Tier A players. With the Tier B, like Cole, Soto, those guys. With the Tier B players, it's not great. And he costs guys. Constantly situations where he's costing people. And to me, I think the issue is, as a Met fan, the Met fans are saying, I feel bad for Pete. I feel bad for Pete. I feel sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for him. They offered him 7 years, $158 million. He turned it down. They offered him another 3-year deal. He turned it down. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? There's nothing they can do.
Think about it. Didn't Petey kind of bet on himself, right? You know, not taking that deal. And how did he do?
He failed.
That's
bad year. He had his worst offensive season of his career.
So how could you feel bad for him then?
You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't feel sorry for him.
Right. And now if Aaron Judge didn't have on his walk year, if he had,
of course, Judge had a career year that year.
Alonso year, right? Are we talking about the same kind of deal that he got?
Soto, same thing. Soto did the same thing. Soto bet on himself.
Exactly.
Had his best year of his career. You know, and it's interesting. Even before the Mets traded for Lindor, there was 1 year left on the Lindor contract. The Mets traded for him, but Lindor had a great year in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. A lot of these guys do this. You know, when Brandon Nimmo, the year before he was a free agent, had his best offensive season of his career with the Mets, he got paid.
Yeah.
I just don't understand what advice or what he's trying to accomplish, Alonso.
Do you think
he goes to Toronto, San Francisco, Seattle? You're not going to remember what he is. He's just a guy.
Forget years, Josh. Is Alonso worth $200 million?
No.
Is he worth 185?
No, I think he's worth, honest opinion, I think he's worth the 3 for $90. That's what I think he is. He's a home runner, nothing guy. He hits 240. He had what speed? He had 325 on base percentage this year. A lot of strikeouts. He had 88 RBIs. He had his worst offensive season of his career this year, and he flopped. He should have taken the 7 years, 158. That's what he should have done. He got bad advice. He fired his agency. He went to Boras, And he got worse advice because here's the thing. If somebody felt he was going to be the next big guy for that team, why isn't he signed already?
Well,
why is he not signed?
The market is still kind of cold right now, too, though.
It is. I understand. Well, I mean, like,
let's give it another week or two and see. But you're right, because again,
if you look at it, like, who are you comparing him to? Santander, Bregman. Bregman had a pretty down year this year. The difference with Bregman is, again, Alex Bregman, another Scott Boras client. But Bregman did not have a great season this year. He had 262 with 20-something home runs. Bregman's a good – he's won multiple world championships. But the other thing about Bregman that came out today is he doesn't want a short-term deal. The Cubs want to sign him, but he will not take a short-term deal. This is the thing that – I just don't understand why Alonso wouldn't take the straight 3-year deal. Why does he want the opt-outs?
Well, forget that. Why not take that 7-year deal original? Did he think he was going to get that much more?
Again, Boras also costed Conforto. It was a 5-year, 120. I think it was 5 for 120, Speedy, 5 for 120, and he turned it down. And it completely cost Conforto years of money that he could have earned. He'd still be with the Mets.
Now, also too, let's keep in mind with the Giants.
He'd still be with the Mets.
Wait, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong too. If there's some steam with the Giants, right? You look at Willy Adames. That was the biggest contract the Giants have offered and put out in quite some time, right?
I'm not even sure Adames even earned that. I like Adames a lot, but I'm not even sure he earned that deal.
Are the Giants going to shell out that much more to sign Petey? You know, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, Speedy just messaged me. Yeah, Conforto's earned. So he was offered $125 million by the Mets a couple of years ago. He's earned just under $60 million in career earnings. That dude cost himself $60 million plus by doing that.
But hey, maybe
I'm just saying
the happiness.
He's never going to get 7 for 158 ever again. And if any team now, we know the Mets want Vladdy, right? And it's been long gone that Vladdy and Soto are best friends. They hang out in the offseason. We've seen Francisco Alvarez hang out with the two of them as well. It's been kind of rumored that that's where he would prefer to go, is the Mets, because he gets to play with Soto again and everything like that.
And the Mets are in the perfect spot to do it.
Of course. I mean, think about this. If you're think about the Mets core, it could be next year. Lindor will be just turning 30. Soto will be 26. Vientos will be 25, and I think Vladdy will be 25. That's your core: 30, 26, 25, and 25. That's your Mets core for the next 7 years.
I'm noticing one issue, though.
There is no issue.
One issue.
That's
a great offensive core. What about a pitching core?
I'm going to believe in the Met Lab that produced a good amount last year. And I'm going to believe in Jeremy Hefner as my pitching coach.
How would you rank Jeremy Hefner there?
I would say he's probably the best in baseball. Speedy, would you say Hefner's probably the best pitching coach in baseball? You're an analytics guy. What would you say?
What was it?
You said the best?
I can't account for that much with pitching coaches individually, but he's definitely improved a lot from when he was almost fired.
Well, yes, I mean, he was almost a GM of the Twins.
So he's the best?
Oh, God. GM of the Twins? I didn't even hear that.
Speedy, am I hearing correctly? He's the best in Major League right now? He's the best.
I think he's one of the best.
He might not even be the best in New York.
You can say Matt Blake is better?
Oh, okay. Did Luke Weaver all of a sudden, a journeyman, all of a sudden become the best reliever in the postseason?
I will ask this question.
From the Pirates and all of a sudden be at one point an elite closer who now is on the Mets to try to be a starter?
And let me ask you, what if Holmes does turn into a good starter?
You're welcome.
What if Montas turns into a competent pitcher? Severino did. Sean Manaea went from a career 4.5 ERA guy to finishing top 10 in the Cy Young last year. David Pearson was on the brink of extinction.
That's fine. That's one. Are they going to do it again? Are they going to do it again?
It's more than one.
You're right. It was
he
half
had
a season.
projects.
It was half a season.
He had projects
Half
to
of
do
the
last
season.
He had projects to do last year.
What were they pre All-Star break? Are you gonna tell me their pitching staff was elite and
He's
the
been
best?
pretty good all season. It was their hitting was a disaster. Alonso was doing nothing the whole season.
There's no way.
And the
No
bullpen,
way.
bullpen blew a ton. I think they blew the most games of any team in baseball in the first half. I think it was 11.
Lost seventh inning leads.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's because they have the best pitching coach. You're right. Absolutely. Yep.
Listen, only so much you could work with Phil Maton.
Come on now.
And,
Come on. Listen, I will not disagree.
I heard the Mets want Tim Hill. Give me Tim Hill.
Hey, the Yankees are going to go after Mets legend Brooks Raley now.
That's it.
Yo, I will not disagree that he's a great pitching coach. I will disagree to say that he's the best. Like every team wants him. He's the best pitching coach.
You know who probably might be the best pitching coach in probably in baseball? Who's the Braves one?
Oh, I can picture what he looks like.
He's probably his name. One. I mean, that dude lost everybody last year. Now he's got a real project. No Strider and no Fried this year. That's a real project.
Yeah, Rick Kranitz.
Rick Kranitz is probably the best.
Not even the best in the division. He's not even the best in the division. Not even the best in New York. That's big talk right there.
I mean, let's say Matt Blake does have the benefit of having Garrett Cole. Helps. I wish the Mets had a semblance of somebody that's like Garrett Cole.
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong. Luke Weaver to the Mets.
I don't think the Mets even have a number 3.
So Luke Weaver to the Mets. Luke Weaver's doing what he did last year?
Is Luis Severino doing what he did last year for the Mets with the Yankees?
How about the name Michael? How about Michael Tompkins? Come on now.
They cut him, Tompkins, after he struggled after 5 games. They cut him.
Yeah, but
you know what? The Mets, he had a good week, and then he went down.
Such a great run for the Yankees at one point.
He had a great run for the Mets, and he was a wash.
Listen, I can't let you come on the show, Josh.
Yeah, that's true. Gary said he's had one good week with the Mets, and then poof. Now he's not getting paid.
Yep. In good faith to the fans and the listeners of the show, I cannot let you come on here and agree with you that Hefner is the best pitching coach.
That's fine. Agreed.
I can say he's good. I can attest and I'll agree. But I cannot say he's the best.
I also think it helps that the Mets have also invested the most money of any team in baseball in that pitching lab. I mean, they were last in the league in analytics. They went from they went from last in the league to first in the league for the most analytical people because the Lopez didn't believe in analytics or want to pay anybody.
Josh, I know this is way too early. I know it's way too early. The Mets next year, do you get the first half or second half Mets?
I know it. They have to finish the offseason. I don't even know.
Currently constructed. Do you get the Mets of the first half or second half?
I think if you get Manaea what he was.
That's a big question mark.
I agree. I think if you get Manaea back what he was and they're getting Senga back, which is huge.
Yes, but again.
You get Peterson pitching he does. I think you could get the second half team. I have to see how the rest of the all season plays out. One key thing, though, if they sign a guy like Tanner Scott in that bullpen, that's ginormous for them.
All right, you lose Alonso.
Who was the one that the guy they got from Seattle? Who was the reliever? What was his name? The long-haired guy.
Oh, Stanek.
Right. If they sign Tanner Scott and bring back Ryan Stanek, who, by the way, they should be bringing back Stanek because he was absolutely unhittable in the postseason.
That's right. Yeah.
To go with Diaz, I would do that in a heartbeat. And you know what? Give me Tim Hill. I want Tim Hill here.
I wonder why. I don't know. Another guy goes to the Yankees. It's weird.
Actually, if they sign Tanner Scott, they probably won't bring Hill in.
Speedy, are you catching this too? Is he naming Yankee pitchers that before last year you had no idea who the name were?
Tim Hill, I knew who he was. He was with the Padres before that.
But that's what I'm saying. Now all of a sudden, Josh is like, yeah, we want this guy.
Well, I mean, it worked last year with Severino.
I'll take Michael Tonkin not knowing who he was.
Yeah, please. Oh my God, no. Hey, listen. To be fair, Severino had a pretty good year last year. He went from a 6.5 year rate to a 3.71.
Somewhat. It wasn't his best year. It wasn't a worse year.
No, but his year dropped
3.5
points.
All right. But you're comparing it to his first season back after injury too. No,
I will say the biggest thing that Hefner did was Mania. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that.
Agreed.
Nobody. I mean, he finished top 10 in the Cy Young last year. Nobody saw that happening. And Peterson too. Peterson had what, a 3.23 ERA last year? He was on the brink of being cut by the team.
You know what, Josh? I got an idea. If Hefner is that good, the Mets should trade the Yankees for Stroman.
No, stop! Why? We went down that road. I warned you about that road.
Let's see.
It's a good low risk
If that happens, and he has a Cy Young year,
low risk signing, I said we've been down this road. He's going to have a great first half. He's going to have a horrible second half. He's going to insult people on Twitter and say that they're racist. That he won't even pitch in the postseason. And they can't even get rid of him. Nobody wants him. Literally, nobody wants the guy. They're trying to eat money from this guy, and nobody will still take him.
I don't know. I'm just saying you're confident with the Mets that they're going to repeat their second half, and that the first half never happened last year.
I'll say what Billy Beane said to David Justice that time. The Yankees are paying you X amount of money to not play on your ball club. The Yankees are paying you X amount of money to not pitch for their ball club. Why do you think you're here right now? Because they're paying you not to be there.
You know what? You're confident on the Mets this year. We'll see.
I'm confident. Listen, do I think they're winning the World Series? No. They got to wait. No.
Are they winning their division?
No.
Are they taking second in the division?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think the year after, if they get Vladdy, then now you have a whole different conversation. Now you're talking Lindor, Soto, Guerrero, Vientos. You know, Pete could be a part of that, but he decides to be a jerk and not accept the 3-year contract. I mean, that's his prerogative.
Hey, he thinks.
Let me tell you, have fun. Let me tell you, he wants to go to Toronto, who, by the way, accepts players who fail 2 physicals for 2 different organizations. Have fun.
Hey, he's a closer, okay? Stop that.
It's called being irrelevant. That's what Pete, he will, and I'm not saying to be a joke, he will become irrelevant, Pete.
So wait, if that's the case, shouldn't the Twins try to step up?
They're trying to get rid of Correa.
Well,
thank God they messed it.
It's funny how that works.
I didn't even like that contract when it happened. Speedy remembers. I was annoyed with that.
I don't know.
About that. I said they're going to give Correa a 13-year contract to play in the postseason, and if they don't get into the playoffs, then the contract stinks.
You were excited.
No, I was not. I said this is too many years and too much money for an injury-prone player.
You didn't say that about Soto, though.
Oh no, Soto's Soto plays every game.
Mostly, yes.
He does. No, Soto's definitely different than Correa. Stop it. Here, you want to know something? The truth is, Soto and Lindor are 2 guys that play pretty much every game.
Correct.
And Pete does too. But if he goes to those offensive numbers, you think they're going to get any better if he goes to San Francisco?
Is Vladdy's numbers going to be better in Citi Field?
Probably. You can make the case. I don't see why not.
Even? I mean,
I'm in Toronto.
But you know what? The power numbers for Vladdy haven't been what anyone's expected.
Trust me, he had 30. He had 30 plus last year. Hit 325. I'll take that in my lineup.
Oh, over Alonso, absolutely. Over Goldschmidt, absolutely.
That says I'd rather Pete over Vlad because Pete's a homegrown talent. This is what I always tell people. Speedy, who's my favorite New York Ranger, would you say, on the team for years? Who is it?
Your favorite New York Ranger.
Who's the guy that just got traded?
No. Oh, God, no.
Igor.
No, it's not Igor. No.
It's not Igor?
No.
Or captain.
You're always hyped him over.
It's a guy that I said should have been captain of the team. It's been the longest tenured Ranger.
Oh, it's the captain.
Kreider.
It's Kreider.
Yeah.
You know what I said about Kreider last week?
Trade him.
I dump him.
Just trade him. I saw your tweet on it, too.
I dump him. I was in the minority. Who did I want to keep, Henrik Lundqvist or Cam Talbot on this team? I was in the minority. I don't have attachments to players.
You wanted Trubia.
That's how I've always been. Brandon Nimmo has been my favorite Met for years. When he was a free agent, I said to myself, they don't bring him back. They don't bring him back. What do you want me to tell you?
Gosh, who hurt you as a kid?
Nobody. I don't have attachments to players anymore. I'm done with it. I'm tired of it. Every time I do it, I think it kind of started when I had the attachment with John Olerud.
Were you mad when he signed it with the Yankees?
No, I didn't care about that.
Robin Ventura, when he signed with the Yankees, did you get disappointed too?
No.
Al Leiter.
The Mets traded him for David Justice, and they traded David Justice 2 days later for Mark Guthrie, which was a great deal, by the way. Mark Guthrie was good for the Mets in 2002.
I don't believe it.
I don't have an attachment. I think I really do think the John Olerud situation kind of messed me up as a kid.
I knew there was a source. All right.
No. I think it was two things. It was two things. Olerud was one. I would probably say Jericho Cotchery was another. That was another. Because I said the Jets had to do everything they possibly can to keep this guy. He's the heartbeat of this team, and nobody realizes it. They let him go because he couldn't be in the wide receiver room anymore because Antonio Holmes was a dunce. And then people said, "Oh, I keep Holmes over Cotchery." Okay.
Wow. Does this not sound like deja vu?
And it's
funny. Is that not deja vu?
What did Antonio Holmes do the minute the Jets signed to an extension? There was a big picture in the New York Post of him drinking a bottle of tequila in his in his house. Great.
This is sounding eerily similar to a Jet season again.
What?
I get why the new attachment now. Now it makes sense.
I don't get attachments to guys anymore. I'm done. Listen, I wasn't happy when they signed Shesterkin to the contract.
Oh, I know.
Because what's great and hard for them. Graham is doing fantastic for them.
Josh, I know when the attachment's going to happen for you. It's when you see a parade live. When you see a parade, the attachment's going to grow.
I've never seen a parade. So
that's what I'm saying. Wait till you see a parade. You're going to have some favorites.
Never seen one. Mets, Jets, Rangers, Knicks. Never seen one. Knicks aren't going to get one this year again.
I don't know. Have I seen a few?
Knicks aren't going to get one this year. Where they play.
It's early.
Saban's going to keep giving everybody 50 minutes a game.
Well, who could they play from the bench?
How about giving some of the young guys an opportunity, like Kolek and Hapardi? How about giving those guys a shot and see what you got instead of doing a 7-man rotation in January?
Not ready yet.
Why is Towns hurt? Why does Towns have this knee issue again? Why does Towns have this knee issue?
It's not. It's a hand issue now.
Oh, great. But why did he have the knee issue? Because the reports came out that it's an injury that happens when you log too many minutes a game.
What center does not have a knee issue? What big man does not have a knee issue?
Harnstein?
Who?
Harnstein? He doesn't.
Oh, or leg injury. Excuse me.
Harnstein used to have fluky injuries.
Yeah. He's got some leg injuries though.
No, he doesn't.
What is he questionable with tonight?
Nothing. He's doing great for the Thunder. Unfortunately, the Knicks couldn't bring him back because the NBA has their stupid rule where you can only offer a certain amount of money to the player.
Mm-hmm.
Can't keep the. I mean, it's like, ugh.
All right, so now that we're diving into that a little bit, I don't think we really talk Knicks too much. But you know what? You bring up a great question. Hold on. Let me get these words out. Hold on.
He's flustered trying to figure it out because he's trying to figure out an athlete that you're attached to.
Never going to happen. There's no athlete I'm attached to. I would trade Jalen.
You're not attached to
I'll trade him.
Come on, Josh. There's got to be Aaron Rodgers. Before the season started, you seemed pretty attached. You were pretty stoked for Rodgers in the offseason.
I was excited. I wasn't attached to him. I said if he sucks, then it is what it is. The Jets are the Jets, man. I think the Jets should hire Aaron Glenn or Steve Spagnuolo. They're not going to hire either one of them.
Spags. I lean Spags more because of the experience. But either way, if they go defensive minded, that you have to get a strong offensive coordinator.
No, here's what you also do need. I think a guy like Aaron Glenn, who has ties to the organization, was a Pro Bowler there multiple times, was an All-Pro there, knows the ins and outs of being a player in New York. I think that, learning from Dan Campbell, learning from Sean Payton, I think is massive. You look at what he's done in Detroit with losing all of his guys. Like, he wants this Jet job.
Yeah,
but what he's not going to hire him. What he's going to hire Matt Nagy or somebody stupid like that.
You bring in Glenn or Spags. Who is the offensive coordinator? Because if not, you're doing the same cycle.
I think Glenn will hire somebody from Detroit staff, probably the passing game court or somebody like that. But I like what Glenn said the other day. He said, I know I'm a defensive coach, but once you're the head coach, you're the head coach of everything. There's no ins and outs.
Yeah, but when that happened, did Saleh kind of have to take away his, hey, I want to focus on the defense, make the defense strong. I got to focus more on the offense?
Yeah, meanwhile, Saleh was I think he was helping out with the tight ends or something for Green Bay. How did that go? By the way, he's getting an in-person interview with the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow. He's getting the Jaguars job, by the way. He's getting that Jaguars job.
You think so?
Now everybody is faulting the Jets for Saleh's incompetence. He's getting that Jaguars job. Oh, Deion's going to the Cowboys. It's going to be Dak. It's going to be Dak, their first rounder, and a second rounder for the number 1 overall pick, and they're going to draft Shador with Deion, Jerry.
They're going to trade up and get Travis Hunter too, right?
Nope. They're just going to get Shador, and they're going to win an Oscar, and they're not even going to be nominated. It's going to be a write-in. It's going to be wonderful. I can't wait. Let's go to Deion for his postgame. Let's go to Jerry now for his postgame. Balls. Uh-huh.
Hey, speaking of football, isn't there a natty championship coming up soon?
Monday. Ohio Notre Dame. And it's gonna be, and how about Marcus Williams, huh? Trying to get an interview with the Chicago Bears. How about that, Speedy? Marcus Freeman. How about that?
You're close.
That was close. I think I said the cornerback, right?
You said Marcus Williams, the safety with the Ravens.
Only you would know that. I didn't even know there was a Marcus Williams. But how about Marcus? How about Freeman getting an interview possibly for the Chicago Bears to go with Caleb Williams? I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think McCarthy's going to the Saints. So I think Glenn's going to the Jets. I think McCarthy's going to the Saints. I think Deion's going to the Cowboys. This is so happening. It's going to be one of three. It's going to be, you have a choice: Deion, Saleh, and Kellen Moore.
That's what I think's going to happen.
Wait. You don't think Deion and the Raiders?
I could see that. So
nope. From everything I read, Ben Johnson's getting that job. And apparently he wants the job. And by the way, I don't know if anybody did you hear who he's best friends with? Ben Johnson? Adam Gase.
Oh yeah.
Oh, back to the Jets. Here we go.
You know what I said? I want nothing to do with him. So, I think Johnson's going to the Raiders. I think Sal's going to the Jaguars. Deion's going to the Cowboys. 100%. You could lock it up. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that press conference. Who's going to have more of an ego that day, Deion or Jerry?
Be pretty close.
It's going to be wonderful.
Probably still Jerry, but
I don't know. Deion could probably be like, once you trade a first rounder, Dak, and a second round pick for next year, and get the number 1 pick, and you bring Shador in, let's go.
So wait, so you're gonna say Dak to the Raiders? I mean
Tennessee, yes.
ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, I don't know about that.
But I'll tell you one other coaching. I think McCarthy's going to the Saints. That's it.
I think that's the Raiders.
No, the Bears. The Bears. I'm trying to think for the Bears. Freeman's interesting because if he wins a national championship, I think he's getting that job. You know, or Kingsbury to work with Williams.
That'd be interesting.
But Cliff, I don't think wants to leave Washington. He likes working with Jaden.
He's in a good spot.
He's in a great spot with
But
Danny.
that's like saying Ben Johnson's in a great spot too.
Oh, I just don't know why Johnson's taking the Raiders job from everything I've read. Doesn't have a quarterback. What are you taking? You're going to go from Jared Goff to Aiden O'Connell? Why?
Now they're going to bring back Gardner.
Oh, what?
Minshew.
Oh, stop. What other jobs are there? The Patriots hired Vrabel. That was skeezy in itself.
Jaguars.
I think you named all of them already because Cowboys was the only other new one. There were 6 originally.
Speedy, who do you think goes to the Cowboys? Kellen Moore?
I think it's Kellen Moore.
Who do you think, Eric?
You know what? I lean Kellen Moore. And
Nope.
you know what? I would not be surprised if Deion throws his hat in the NFL.
Nope.
Goes to the Raiders.
Nope.
Easier to get Shador
Nope.
that way.
I think Ben Johnson's going to the Raiders. I think Deion's going to the Cowboys. I cannot wait for that press release. It's going to be amazing.
So wait, question. So while we're doing like wrong picks and wrong stuff like this, let's talk some NFL action. You know, we got some more playoff games.
Yeah, we do. Let's get to the music, Speedy.
All
Alrighty. What? So the Houston Texans are on again, right? For tradition, second week in a row?
Oh, yeah. Second week in a row. Saturday at 4:30 against the Chiefs.
No. Well, the Los Angeles Chargers, boy, oh boy, what a dud they laid up. Boy, Herbert is really
That stunk. That stunk.
horrible. It was like a no contest.
That's
And that's a horrible, just a Jim Harbaugh left team.
yeah.
Surprising.
Not even Jim Harbaugh can cure
Not
it.
the my face for picking
I
them.
mean, we know who's winning this game. It's going to be the Chiefs. They're going to the championship game. The NFL is going to be ecstatic because you're going to get either them against either Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. So they'll be fine with that. So I'll take the Chiefs, but I think they're going to blow the doors off of the Houston Texans.
Yeah, listen, the Texans.
I know you want to try to disagree, but it's impossible.
I can't. The Texans defense, they played very well. Great job. You
Listen,
forced.
the Denver game last week, so.
You know what? But think about this. This isn't the first time that Houston defense has done that, right? How many interceptions did Jared Goff throw against them?
Well, it's true, but it's also former players going back to their former teams.
You know,
Ryan got to Houston, Vrabel with the Patriots. But I think Glenn will go to the Jets. I think you're seeing a trajectory of success with
But
understanding the history of that team.
but talking Houston, I mean, their defense is better than it's led on to be, right? You know, and they get it
They
together.
have playmakers. They're good. They got Will Anderson. I think Anderson's been very good. Stingley's been way better than I thought. I thought Stingley was going to be a bust. He's been better than I thought he was going to be.
I'll agree with you of the Chiefs winning, but I'm not going to call it a blowout. It's going to be less than a touchdown.
Oh, you think it's going to be that close? Oh,
It's going to be listen. The Chiefs. That's the kind of games they played this year. You know, that's not the
Yeah.
all right. We're running up the score on you and everything. It's going to be a close game. They'll take it. Don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be as big of a blowout as you're thinking.
all right.
All right, next one is Saturday Night Football. The Commanders at the Lions.
This is going to be a fun game. This game kind of reminds me of last year's Tampa-Detroit game, right? Where everybody was just saying Detroit's going to blow out Tampa. They got no shot. Hostile environment. And Baker almost led Tampa to the win. They almost won that game in the divisional round. I think Washington's going to keep it close. I was impressed by Daniels last week. That team in Washington, the defense kind of faltered the second half. And Daniels, if you look at how he is, his moxie, his bravado, doesn't have it. He's very like a low key, go with the flow, like a this, not a hyped up guy. I like that about him.
So like an Eli Manning.
I mean, I guess, yeah. You kind of say. I mean, he Daniels runs, Eli doesn't. So, I mean, but I do think Detroit's going to win, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. Daniels will be a top 5 quarterback in this league next year. It's going to get better for him.
Oh,
as long as Kingsbury doesn't leave.
The biggest fallback I have with Washington is their defense, right? Like they can outscore anybody, right? But can their defense hold to keep them in the game long enough for the offense to do so? Against a high-powered offense of Detroit, I'm not certain of that, right? And now, did you hear who's coming back soon?
Aiden Hutchinson.
Well, besides him, Sonic and Knuckles, the tandem is coming back. That's going to be huge. Gibbs showed he can do it on his own. But now you add Montgomery back too. Give me Detroit in this one. I think the defense shows who they really are, and we all get the matchup we want in the championship game.
All right, let's go to the other half of that NFC bracket. The Rams at the Eagles, Sunday, 3:00.
I think the Eagles are going to. Kudos to the Rams for winning that game. That was impressive, what they did to Minnesota, and that kind of leads me away from Flores with how the last 2 weeks have gone. Granted, Sam Darnold looked like Sam Darnold with the Jets the last 2 weeks. That didn't really help matters. I just think Philly right now, they're playing on all cylinders. They're the hottest team right now. They're peaking at the right time. I think you can make the case that they're great on offense and they're great on defense. To me, I think Philly's going to take this one. Good run for the Rams. This is probably McVay's best coaching job that he's done. But I'm going to take the Eagles. I think they're perfect right now. Still have a little worry with Hurts with throwing the ball, but we'll see. But I'm going to take and everything like that. So,
all right. You know what?
And I have breaking news after you're done.
Well, you know what? No. You can't cliffhanger it like that in the middle of picks. You got to go for it. Go for it.
All right. This is from Joe Sherman.
Uh-oh.
The latest offer the Mets gave Pete Alonso was a 3-year deal in the $68 to $70 million range.
All right, I'm waiting for the breaking news part.
That was it.
Okay. Anyway, so that's bad. I don't know. And he's turning that down. So think about it, you double that. 6-year, 140. That's still less than that 7-year deal they gave him, no? He's pricing himself out. That's rough. That's
3 years, $70 million. The Mets offered him. He said no. Okay.
No, but that's wow. That 7-year deal looks better and better. Wow. All right, back to football. So I believe we were talking. Listen, the Rams defense came to play last week. Can they do it again against a Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith? I don't think so. And you know what? We've seen Philly's defense just everyone flying to the ball, right? Putting pressure on the quarterback. Granted, listen, the Rams have Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, all gamers ready to play and step up. It's not going to be an easy task, but I still think the Eagles handle their business. Especially the defense of Philly, Cooper DeJean, the other guys, Blankenship, the guys they have back there, they're flying to the ball, playing phenomenal right now. It's going to be a great matchup. Again, I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. It all depends on how the Rams defense can keep them into this game. I just think Philly has too much offensive power to kind of make it that close. I'd say give me Philly by 10+.
All right, lastly, the Ravens at the Bills.
Best game of the week.
Oh, all right, Josh, make the wrong pick.
You're probably right. A tough one. I feel like both teams are kind of similar when you look at it, so that's why it's tough.
They did play each other this year.
They did. I forget who won that game.
Ravens was a blowout.
It was a blowout. Like, and Buffalo came in hot into that game. It wasn't like,
They did.
oh, we're catching them on a bad.
I'm gonna take Baltimore in this game. I think Lamar did a great job last week, settling everything down. You know, it was getting a little interesting at times in that game, everything like that. But Baltimore had it all the way. Obviously, I have trust issues with both Harbaugh and McDermott. But again, like you said, early in the year, Buffalo was playing hot, and they got walloped by them. So I'm going to go with Baltimore in this one. I think they'll stymie that Bills defense. Buffalo didn't really have competition when it came to Denver last week, which I thought Denver would surprise people. But I'll take the Ravens in this game. I like where they stand right now. I like how Lamar's playing. Still no Zay Flowers, but they'll be okay with give the rock to Derrick Henry. It's going to be, I believe, a massive snowstorm too. So you're going to have two of the best running backs in the game in Henry and Cook. Be a lot of running in this game. Not much throwing, but I'll take the running for Baltimore in this one.
That's such a great point, Josh. What's the weather supposed to be?
Let me pull it up. Buffalo.
I'm pretty sure.
Wings.
Let's see. Let's look at the weather for a moment. And if it turns
Sunday, it's going to be single-digit temperatures. Could mix with snow for Sunday.
Okay. Now
Now you're going to get. Yep. It's going to be cold, man. Get ready. Jeez. Don't want to be there.
If Zay Flowers is out, you're going to rely on Mark Andrews in the passing game?
Sure. I think it likely.
You're going to rely on that?
Bateman was great. Rashad Bateman had a great game last week.
That's the part that makes it tricky, right?
But
because
I think they played a better opponent in Pittsburgh than Buffalo did in Denver.
not necessarily. Because Pittsburgh was on the decline, and you've seen that for the past 3 weeks, right? So I wouldn't say that. Denver's offense has been clicking, right? Their defense had been outstanding this year, and Buffalo handled business. Now, if it turns into one of those, it's a rushing game, it's Lamar and Henry against Allen and Cook, that could be a huge factor. But you know what? In those type of games, who is better suited? To me, it's the team with the experience in those kind of games, in that environment, at home. That's why I think Buffalo wins this game. You can flip a coin. This is a flip a coin. You would sound like a hero picking Baltimore and they win. I would sound like a hero picking Buffalo and they win. I mean, both teams can win, obviously, and obviously, because one team has to. I get that. Very similar team, but because the environment, because the defense, because the experience in the cold, you have to take Buffalo at home there.
Mm-hmm. All right. There's the picks for the week. It's gonna be, I think both night games are the best games. Obviously, the Houston game is. We'll see. Bob Slowick's trying to redeem himself.
The best four teams remaining, right? Who doesn't want to see the Eagles against Detroit? Who doesn't want to see the Chiefs against either one of them, Baltimore or Buffalo, right?
Let me tell you something. You have a Super Bowl of Buffalo versus Detroit in New Orleans. Lock down the city. Hide everybody.
Buffalo.
No, because those two teams have never won Super Bowls.
Oh,
Think
that's
about
true,
that.
but yeah, but it's also Philly.
Think about that. Those two franchises and the Lions had never been to one. Think about that. And Buffalo's never won one. They went to 4 in a row. Those two who would have thought that, huh?
The Giants played in one of those, I think.
Yeah, they won on a missed field goal by
Scotty Norwood.
Scott Norwood had one of the best seasons as a kicker, and just missed the kick. Yeah. Last thing before we get to your better than that, want to talk a little bit about some sad news that did happen today, and that was the loss of Bob Uecker, passing away at the age of 90. Was the Milwaukee Brewers radio announcer for 53 years, was a player also in Major League Baseball. For those that don't remember, a couple of things. He was in the movie Major League 2. Was also
remember him.
Yep, and also was an announcer at WrestleMania when Andre the Giant was choking him. People thought that it was comedic. One of the funniest people, great play-by-play announcer, won a Frick Award, which is offered to the broadcasting announcers for the National Baseball Hall of Fame. This is, you remember it's a legendary voice that you remember just a bit outside. You make all those jokes, everything of that nature. You really, when you look at Bob and what he did, him, Vince Scully, pioneers of the radio industry, both are now gone. It really, to do games for over 50 years. And he did the games by himself, by the way. Don't forget that. So Vince Scully did too, but Vince Scully also, like Bob, would tell stories. Bob was also a player in the game for years. So, condolences, of course, to the family and loved ones of Bob Uecker. Just a legendary voice. If you have not got a chance to go watch the movie with Major League Back to the Minors, you could probably hold off on.
I love the Buzz. That was good too.
You thought so?
Classic.
Major League 1 and 2 was fantastic, but just really was a special person. Hearing the voice was always great. Legendary. Did so much for the radio industry. So thoughts and prayers to them. Eric, any thoughts about Bob Uecker, remembering him and everything of that nature?
You know what? Legendary pioneer, like you kind of said, in the entire broadcast game. Phenomenal. No doubt will I watch Major League in his remembrance as well. But definitely a tough blow. It happens. It's part of life, and it's awful. But what a true just pioneer in the baseball world itself, in the broadcast world. He's going to deeply be missed. This was a sad one to hear.
So, really quickly, yes, harping back on the Alonso thing, with the 23 AAV, he'd be the fourth highest paid first baseman in baseball behind, I believe it was Vladdy, Freeman, and Harper. He'd be the fourth highest paid in baseball.
Wait, it would be higher than Matt Olson?
Yep. And he's still... And he's not better than Freeman. He's not better than Vladdy. He's not better than Harper. He's not even better than Olson. But he won't take it. So, we won't tell you. It's a mistake.
Huge.
He's making a mistake. Pete can't sit there and say, I'm better than Matt Olson. I'm going to get paid a higher AAV than him when he had a down year. Matt Olson hits bombs, but he also plays great defense. Pete doesn't play great defense. So
is that more of a reason for the Mets not to bring him back? Because you have Soto behind him there?
Well, like I said, I think the thing is, I think their dream is they want Guerrero. They would, if they could, they would do a trade for Guerrero right now and just sign him to an extension.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they really would like to
do. At the same time, do you have to trade for him when in a year you can just I don't call it out.
No, but I think
anyone to get him?
No, but at the coming up NLCS, I think they want to. I guess they want to see. Look, Mauricio. They're a little bit worried about Mauricio, from what I've been told, because he's still behind in his rehab. I don't know why, but he's been working out with Soto. But it's this Pete. Where is Pete going to get this money from? Is somebody really going to give him more than $23 million? And if somebody does, then they're stupid, because that's his fair value.
But who's out there that needs him at that value right now?
And that's what I'm saying. I think what he's been given by the Mets is a fair offer. He's a
he gets the
34-year-old
1 year.
power hitting first baseman where his numbers declined this year.
Maybe not the worst idea to get the 1 year prove-it deal again, or 2 year with opt-outs, however, whatever. Right? Now Vladdy gets off the board next year. He all of a sudden becomes the next hot commodity at first base, no?
I just think he's getting bad advice. This is Boris trying to be money hungry, which I don't know why, because Boris just got $1 billion from Soto. Like, it just doesn't. I don't know. Like, he's going to be the fourth highest paid first baseman behind Harper, Freeman, and Guerrero. He's not better than either one of those three.
Olsen.
He's not even better than Olsen. He's going to get paid more than Olsen. I don't know.
Like, you look at Detroit, too. Does Detroit past couple of seasons or have a track record of opening their wallet, right?
Nope.
So
they're in on Bregman right now, and they don't even want to go long-term for Bregman.
that's, you know what I mean? So what market really is going to be out there for Pete right now? Right?
No matter what the market is, if he goes to that team, he's just going to be irrelevant.
But
he's not going to be the polar bear player getting burgers named after him at Citi Field and the fans embracing him. He's just not going to get that in Toronto. He's not going to get that in San Francisco. He's not going to get that in Seattle. Like, he needs to learn. Like, when Robinson Cano went to the Mariners, he was a good player, but he was irrelevant when he left. Like, this is just like something that he needs to learn. Like, this is going to hurt my market off the field. Like, this is going to hurt me financially because I'm not going to get the endorsement deals or anything anymore. Like, I'm not going to get that anymore. I'm just a guy now. But I stay in New York. I get overhyped. I get overplayed. I get over this.
I hit a home run, and everyone's going wild.
Yeah, I mean, it just
the aura.
He's a 31-year-old first baseman whose numbers are declining. I don't know where he thinks he deserves more than Vladdy or Harper.
And think about that. 7-year deal? Takes him to age 38.
He was going to be the highest paid first baseman in the game of baseball. But it is time for the "you're better than that." Speedy looks very down about this. This is upsetting him.
Is it Pete Alonso's "you're better than that," Josh?
I mean, Speedy, is this upsetting you about Alonso?
Not really. I mean, you had to see somewhat of it coming.
But you think Guerrero's going to the Mets with everything said and done?
Yeah, it's getting more toxic in Toronto, so I don't see him staying there by any means.
Yeah, no, Toronto just signs guys who fail two physicals from two different teams.
Yeah, they built up a good young core, and then Ross Atkins forgot how to run a team 2 years ago.
Are you kidding me? Now Mark Shapiro is the one that, whatever. I'm the president of baseball.
Don't worry. They have Mets legend Chris Bassett on their team.
Oh, don't forget. Horrible.
Josh, I'm going to start off this "you're better than that" because
my "you're better than that" it's something we didn't touch on.
With the interception, nice.
Yeah, it's Karl Anthony Towns and the outfit that he wore yesterday. Like, my guy, you play in New York, you go to Philly, and you wear Eagles gear, and then you change at halftime because you were saying that sweat stains don't look pretty on ESPN. Dude, that's not why you changed. You changed because you were getting harassed on X or whatever it's called, and people were making fun of you. Meanwhile, he's from northern New Jersey? That's Giant County. Or Jet County. That's not Eagle territory. It's South Jersey, man. West Jersey. Come on. If you're going to wear the outfit, man up and just wear it. You already did. Everybody saw it. Then he goes to a Patrick Ewing shirt after. Ain't going to make it better. Dude, Cat, you're better than that. Have some pride in yourself.
Didn't Brunson say that was okay, though?
He did. That's what I'm saying. Brunson's also an Eagles fan.
I get it, but...
I mean, I can also say Tibbs with the minute stuff, but that's whatever.
All right. First, I won't say that Josh is my "you're better than that," even though I said I'm going to go first, and then all of a sudden there's Josh saying, all right, so here's Speedy. We're gonna have to play that back for after the show. I heard it. You heard it, right, Speedy?
What did I say?
I said, Josh, I'm gonna start off with "You're Better Than That," and then there's the perception. You know, sometimes co-hosts they just don't listen to other co-hosts.
Sorry.
They just say what they want. You know,
It was a thought in my head. I had to get it out.
Unbelievable. That's fine. It's fine. It's only been 20 years of this, so it's okay. Actually, less than 20. Probably at this point, what? At least 10. The only difference now is I don't have
11
years. But I'm going to stick with the Knicks. Now, I'm not going to talk in terms of the team. I'm not going to talk in terms of NBA. But what I will say is how disappointing it has been that you cannot watch the Knicks play on cable TV because there's a dispute between one business against another business. And it stinks that it's going on like that because it's the fans are the ones who do not get the right or who get the wrong end of the deal. It stinks because you know what? The Knicks are happening. I want to watch the Knicks. You know, so that means I got to figure out other stuff to do to be able to watch them. I want to just turn on the TV and do it. So that's part of my "You're Better Than That" with both Josh and not being able to watch the Knicks. Come on. You're better than that.
Well, that great show. Speedy, do you have a "You're Better Than That"?
Yeah, I'll keep it on the theme of the Eagles, and that's scum Eagles fan.
Whoa! Oh yes,
yes.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, the one that said some very crude words to a woman Packers fan in the stands, and good thing he's been finally banned from the stadium, and he just got fired from his job today. So yeah.
Yeah, well, when you're in the customer service industry and you do that, that's not going to make matters any better. Thank you so much for listening and tuning into our show. We'll be back next Thursday.
Josh, how can people listen to the show again?
Oh, easy. You can go on worldwidesportsradio.com, YouTube, Instagram, Periscope. Are we still on Periscope?
No.
Okay, we're not on Periscope anymore. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all smart speakers. Are we on anywhere else, Speedy?
Did you see Spotify?
iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio as well.
TuneIn Radio as well. I did everything, though.
Yes, you got all the other live stream ones, yes.
Important. There's a lot of them. What do you want me to say?
Speedy's 2 for 2. 2 for 2. We tried to give him a redemption.
Check out all the great shows such as Jabba in the Mouth, The Weekend Crunch on 103.9 on Saturdays, either at 7 p.m. or after the New York Honors play. Any other shows that are going on, Speedy, that I'm missing?
Snowman in the Morning.
Snowman in the Morning, yep.
And that's it, because Wise Guys is no longer with us.
Okay, Wise Guys are not going to be wise with us anymore. They'll be wise somewhere else, so they are no longer with us. Having said that, Eric, any last thoughts, any words?
All right, one word. National champion. Who?
I want Notre Dame, but I think it'll be Ohio State.
I think it's going to be Notre Dame.
Ohio State.
I think Freeman.
With that, and who's going to have?
Not Marcus Williams. I think Marcus Freeman's going to do it.
You have both of them winning because Marcus Williams is on the Ravens.
Right.
You have both of them winning.
Yes. I mean, if anybody should be better than that, too, should be Deontay Johnson right now, right?
Oh, God, yeah. so Josh has 2 Marcuses winning, and then there was also Marcus Stroman brought up on today's show.
Good day for Marcus.
I mean,
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I mean, the way we talked about him, is it really any better? But, yeah. Great show. Guys, have a great weekend. Always a pleasure. Eric, have a good weekend. Speedy, you too. Don't forget to check out all the other great shows that we have on here. You've been listening and watching Game On live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Enjoy the playoff games and enjoy the national championship. We'll talk to you about it next week. Take care, everybody. This is the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude.